Who is Josh Chaney?
It's funny you should ask that. I've never had to describe myself before, but if I was to do so, I would say that I've always been the dreamer type. I've always had the mindset of an entrepreneur, and I've always wanted to make a difference in the world. So when I had this opportunity to meet an amazing partner like Chris, we decided to create a delivery system for vibroacoustics unlike anything in the world, period.
It's interesting, right? Like as we started, we got the Modern Athlete plug here, right? We've got some of these synergies, Sean and Kiki, Dr. Seeger, right? Like I listened to the podcast that you and Chris were on with Dr. Seeger, right? Like all of these people trying to impact and change the world in this kind of really rad way.
Yeah. And I'm super stoked to be a part of it because, as you know, in this industry, there's so much snake oil and there's so many things that are like good modalities and they say they do, 10 different things, but they really only do 4 things. And they, it's just, I'm in it for a whole different intention. And, I can't express how much I've just seen some unbelievable stuff. I wasn't expecting, vibroacoustic therapy to be so effective. It's been unbelievable.
Well, and again, like you mentioned the different modalities, and I think that's one of the really cool things is there's like science and wellness and all like it's all moving things forward, but it's a lot of discerning what is actually true, who is doing it for the right reasons, right? Has the best of intentions, and then also who's willing to admit like when they're not there, like when they're not doing it the right way, or maybe, hey, we've had a lapse in judgment, like all these different things, because again, there's so many. I look at cold plunging. We were talking about, Morosco and Dr. Seeger. Like there are so many cold plunging and ice baths. There are so many companies that came about, and everybody was ordering through Alibaba and all this stuff. And again, it's just, so you could, at one point in time, you could sit and look and there were probably in my Instagram feed, 30 different cold plunge companies and they all have the same inflatable tub and the same chiller and all that stuff. Yeah. But like when you find people that do it different, you gravitate towards them,
Absolutely. And that's what's been so great for us is, now I have doctors talking about what we're doing. It's not so much just Chris and I, we're an audio company.
Yeah.
It didn't start because we were like, oh, let's get into the wellness space and let's see what we can do. It wasn't even about that. We wanted to create the #1 audio chair in the world. And so as COVID hit and I had to shut down my business and he had to shut down his business, it was like, hey, let's make the best chair in the world. We're going to be sitting here anyway. You know what I mean? So once we started to do that, it just became a whole different, a whole different mindset just as far as what we were going to do, because I started to sit my friends in the chair and everyone loved it. So everyone wanted one, so that's what kind of let us off. But yeah, I'll get into that story when I'll do my little elevator pitch for you.
Yeah, no sweat. And again, I think here's the cool, I think it's a cool transition on into it. And again, you can start with it. And again, here's the thing. I love free flow. I love just seeing where this goes and like wherever the spirit leads us, let's go.
Awesome. Yeah. So during the pandemic, like I said, we were both faced with shutting down our businesses. I invented the world's first frozen popcorn, which I can talk to you about later. And I come from working on the TV show Friends. I was in charge of lighting for Friends for 9 years, 9 out of the 10 years. And I was the youngest at the top of my position in Hollywood. So, I then left there. I retired after 17 years, got into, some things with my mother. She had her knee replaced and I wound up moving back into the house with her while she was going through some surgeries and stuff. And then she had a renal failure. We thought she was going to die. I mean, she was on her deathbed, according to us. Thank God she wasn't. She's still alive. But with her in the hospital and everything, thinking she was 90 years old when she was only like 64, we just thought, oh my God, what's going on with mom? So I, as the youngest of 3 boys, basically had to get all the recipes from my family because my family comes from like bakers and confectionists. And so one of the recipes was caramel corn. And
Okay.
I basically took the caramel corn and made 300 plus flavors and all kinds of different stuff with that, and opened up stores and manufacturing facilities. My partner created some of the top headphones in the world. And
Really?
he's on the patent for Audeze headphones. Very like high end audiophile quality. You know, they're like $2,600, I think, retail, but they're super high end. I met him at a meeting, like literally that same. I think it was like 2 or 3 days before COVID. I was at a meeting with him, and he was mechanically engineering something for some other guy, which was a buddy of mine. And
Hmm.
I'm sitting at the meeting, and I'm an inventor. I have lots of awesome things that'll be coming to the world here. Um, with that being said, I'm sitting at a table with this mechanical engineer, and I've never sat with a mechanical engineer before. And as an inventor, you need a mechanical engineer to make things come to life. So
Yeah.
as I'm sitting there with this guy, I'm like, wait, I got to say something to this guy afterward. And I'm feeling kind of weird because I'm at a meeting with my friend, you know, the whole thing. So I said, hey man, I'm an inventor. I'd love to talk to you afterwards and this and that. He's like, well, I'm kind of busy. And, you know, so anyway, make a long story short, he wound up looking at one of my projects. We wound up going into making it, manufacturing it. I bought a 3D printer. All these different things started to happen. And about 2 weeks when we were getting ready to find some of the different elements that we were sourcing, because it was getting tough now. COVID had hit and everything
Hmm.
was stuck in the water in China and all, you know, all this different stuff. So this company launched, like literally, it was probably, I think, the week into COVID, this company launched their product, and it was the same product as mine, and they just killed it. They did a great job, and
Oh.
they spent marketing money on it. They'd already planned on doing it before COVID had hit, but since COVID hit and they spent all the money on it, they were just like, well, we got to
They're
launch
like,
it.
let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go. So I went back into Chris in his music studio that he had in Westlake, and I was like, hey, you know, I don't want to waste your time no more, man. This is, you know, this is already, they're killing it. So I'm just going to put this back in the closet. And he's like, well, whatever, man. He's like, let's go in the back room and, you know, we'll hang out and we'll talk about some of your other ideas. And so I went in his back room there. It was a beautiful music studio in Westlake. And he sat there and he says, hey, why don't you sit in that chair right there? And I was like, I look over in the corner and there's this chair, like an egg-shaped chair from the 70s. And he's like, plug your phone into it. And there's like this wire coming out of it. And I was like, oh shit. I was, all right. So I sit in it and I plug my phone in and out comes this music. And I was just like, wow. I'm like, this is unbelievable. And they're really bad speakers. They're not good speakers at all. They were like car speakers with tweeters, and I'll explain our speakers a little bit down the road. But
Yeah.
anything. I've never experienced this before. It was immersive. I was in it. I was sitting inside a speaker. Like, you know, it was crazy. So I was like, hey, can you make me one of these? He's like, you know, I got to move out of here. And I was like, what do you mean you're moving out of here? He's like, I can't afford the rent. I'm not going to be able to do all these events and all this stuff. And I was like, how much is your rent? He's like, $3,000. I was like, I'll take that over. So now what? Now what are we doing?
Okay. There goes that excuse.
Yeah, I was like, this will be our spot.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll just sit here for COVID and do whatever. And he started looking online, and we were like looking to see if we could find one of these egg chairs. You know, I wanted one. So we spent about, I think it was like 45 minutes to an hour looking for chairs online, and we couldn't find anything. We found one guy in a garage that was refurbishing an old egg chair. He wanted like $5,000 for it or something like that. And Chris was like, nah. He's like, let's just make our own chair. He's like, you know what? He's like, I'll make us the best audio chair in the world. I was like, all right, those are some strong words. Let's go.
Yeah, no kidding.
So the following week, you know, everyone's off the road here, and I'm in downtown LA, like barely even allowed to be on the road. And I'm seeing these trucks that are offloading probably their last things that they're getting from the docks. You know what I mean? And it just so happens this guy's unloading these egg chairs from China into this furniture store. And I'm like, there. This is like literally a week or two after I had sat in the one for the first time.
Oh, no way.
And so I go up to him, and everyone's got their masks on. And I'm like talking to him from my window, and he's not really wanting to talk to me. It was kind of a weird situation, but I'm like, hey, I want two of those. And I wound up making the purchase for two of those. He only charged me $900. I wound up going back to the studio, and as I walked out and got out of the car, Chris was just actually getting into the studio. I'm, hey, and come give me a hand real quick. And he comes over to my car and he looks at the eggs and he's like, no way.
You're like, what? Yeah.
No way. He's like, you know how many people have talked to me about this egg chair? He's like, nobody has done anything. He's like, the fact that we're in COVID and you have 2 egg chairs in your car, he's like, he stuck his hand out. He's like, you know what? We're partners. He's like, I'm going to make this the best chair in the world. Since I code, which I didn't know at the time, he's like, since I'm a coder, he's like, I'll make us a website. I'll put a click to action button. If someone wants to buy one while we're sitting here, he's like, cool. He's like, but if not, you and I'll have the best chair in the world.
Oh my gosh.
So boom, we set it off. We started, he started talking to different companies about getting speakers, and no one was really answering the phone because everyone's like shut down. Like
Nobody knew what was going on. Everybody was in hunker down mode.
Dude, I couldn't get nothing, no parts. No, it was just like so tough. So we just started ordering stuff, and some things took a couple months to get, and it was just like such a long process there in the beginning. But we started to get things. We developed. We had probably a dozen different types of speakers because he's a very when it comes to sound, he's a sound nerd.
Well, when you're an audiophile and you actually again, anecdotally, I used to help DJ. I run a DJ company in college, right? And you get to, there's music and you get used to it, but again, there's loud music, but then there's good music. And again, you can tell it when you hear it, but it takes a very special person to bring all of that together.
Yeah, and I just learned that. Like what you just said right there. So, 99% of the world sound, they just hear it and they like it and it's loud, but there's that 1% or whatever percentage of the world that is like this. They listen for where they're supposed to hear it and what the tones, all the different stuff. So as I get to know Chris and I've learned sound, there's no in the middle. Like you say, it's either low quality or it's high fidelity. It's not like there's no middle ground with it. And I'll talk about fidelity and why it's so important later. But yeah, so we started to go ahead. We developed this cool. And now we had speakers that we loved. He had a company he wanted to work with the specs and make this because I was starting to make them for rappers. I work with Wiz Khalifa and Tyga and a bunch of different rappers. So. He wanted to make this real bassy, flat line response, this real crisp sound. So that's what we started to develop. That was basically our first model. I then started, because I come from Hollywood and I live in LA, I know a lot of celebrities and a lot of people. So I started to sit my friends in the chairs that we developed, and everyone wanted a chair. And at that time, our pricing, because everything was so damn expensive to get it, it was like $7,000 for a chair. Oh, wow. Now it's a lot cheaper. It's $5,000. We even have them cheaper, but it's gone down quite a bit now because I'm making more chairs and I'm producing more. And it's even going to go down further than that as we start to scale up, and I'm doing some raising some money and stuff. So as I started to sit people in, everybody wanted a chair. And then I started to look at it like, hey, Chris, I think this could be a business. There's no company out there, number one, that makes furniture with audiophile quality. Unless you're talking about a turntable. Okay, there's turntables out there that are super high and bad, but they're, $80,000 or they're really expensive. So I thought this would be great. I thought, hey, why don't we disrupt these two markets, man? We're going to be sitting here anyway, God knows for how long. Let's figure out a way to do this. Let's sell these chairs. I just put in a bunch of money. To date, I put $600,000 into the company of my own money. I'm now at a stage where I need to, if I'm going to take it to that next level, I'm now raising money. Yeah. I've hired my CFOs and all the different, the team. But yeah, we did a little pre-launch. I sold 42 chairs in my pre-launch. During that time, I was building my team, my inside team, the people that were manufacturing, the painting, the art. My wife is the main designer, and I had a personal assistant friend of mine had Parkinson's disease, and this is where the game changes. So
this is the fork in the not the fork in the road, but this is the plot twist.
This is where it all changes because man, I only wanted to make it for music and movies. I wanted to be in hotels and at casinos and in theaters, and that was my goal. Audiophile, Pro Audio, all the studios. I'm at Otis Redding Foundation. I'm at a bunch of really high-end studios, and that was our focus for a long time. We launched at NAM last year, 1 year ago. And we just crushed it at NAM. I got like partners in India now, and
Oh man.
we were taking orders at a trade show, which is, not really supposed to happen, but we were taking orders and it was phenomenal. So with that being said, I had the personal assistant. He had Parkinson's disease, and he would come into work sometimes, and he would be like clinched up to his arms, and he couldn't release his hands to his side. The first time I saw him go through that, it was a little rough for me. I am not going to lie, because he's been my friend for a long time, and I was hiring him because he had Parkinson's and because I wanted to get him out of the house and just
Right.
get over here, bro. You'll get paid. Like, here, I need you to do some shit for me. So I just made him a high level personal assistant for me. I sent him home that night when I saw him. And I just said, hey, man, we're done. Let's go. Get out of here, man. Go rest. Go hang out. Whatever you got to do. He calls me like 4 or 5 hours later, kind of almost toward the end of my night. And he said, hey, Josh, I really appreciate everything you're doing for me. He's like, is there any way you could let me stay at work, when I'm going through these episodes? He's like, because I don't want to be at home going through them. He's like, my kids and everyone are here. He's like, I'm going to be going through them anyway, man. So it's like, if you can stand to see me go through these things, I was like, dude, I felt bad. I was like, dude, I didn't mean to send you home, brother. I wasn't.
You thought you were like, again, you thought you were like helping him out with that,
I
right?
thought
Like,
I was just, like, get out of here, man. Go rest,
yeah.
buddy. Like, and it was a thing for him. So I was like, dude, yes, please come to work, bro. You can, absolutely, man. You know what I mean? That's why I got you here with me
It's a safe space for you.
for these reasons, man.
Yeah.
So he came back into work. I would say a week went by or something, and he had another episode. And my partner, Chris, who you'll eventually meet, he is such a big-hearted guy, and he's a brilliant mind. He's a true genius. Like, he's phenomenal. He's like, Josh, come into my office for a second. And I go in his back office, and he's like, I can't, dude, I can't watch this with him, man. It's killing me to see him go through this. He's like, I was looking online, and I saw there's like a lot of research on white paper and just tons of white papers on vibroacoustic therapy and shaking the basal ganglia. He's like, I can code some oscillators that will create sine waves that will shake his basal ganglia if we sit him inside the chair. And I was like, dude, that would be awesome. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, but that's
right.
awesome,
That's
dude.
all over my head, but that sounds great.
Yeah, like, help my buddy, dude. That would be really cool. So I want to say it was like 3 months. It was close to 3 months, maybe just a little under 3 months. He was in his room all the time, just doing white papers and, research and doctors. And he's on the phone to people, and just like, he's amazing when it comes to research. And he calls me in the room. He's like, hey, man, I think I got it. Let's check it out. And I went in and checked it out, and I sit in the chair and I turn it on. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, that's crazy. I don't even have nothing wrong with me. And that's wild,
Yeah.
right? So Robbie comes in. He has another episode. And Chris is like, hey, man, you want to check this thing out? He's like, I created this thing. I'd love you to sit in the chair and check it out. Let's see if it works. Like, I think I can give you some relief. And Robbie was blown away. He's like, wow. He's like, I would love that. He's like, so he sits in the chair. Chris puts it on, and in 3 minutes, he started to put at first, because when he first got in the chair, he was going like really slow with his dexterity. Mm-hmm. So his first thing, in less than 3 minutes, he was like, oh my God, like this, right? And he put his hands back down, and they're still kind of stuck. And in 5 minutes, he was able to just totally relax, and he fell asleep. And then Chris and I were like, I was in tear, I had a tear. I was just kind of blown away. Chris probably just knew in his head that I knew I was going to do this. You know what I mean? Like, I knew he was going to get relief, because all I had to do was shake his basal ganglia with my subwoofer. You know what I mean? So once I was able to create that low frequency, I knew it was going to happen. So sure enough, that was our deep dive into our life-changing app, which is what we have now. And we're in a beta launch, and I'll make sure to share it with you so that you're able to share it with all your guests. I'll give you guys like a month free, or, I'll do something special for everyone. But you don't need a chair. It works really well inside your car.
Hmm.
If you have a home system with a subwoofer, it works really good. It's a subwoofer based app, so
Okay.
it's going to work really well. But yeah, that was the deep dive basically into like, wow, how can we really affect people like this through frequencies and vibroacoustic therapy and things like that. So it's been 3.5 years. And since then, I have so many doctors. You're wearing a Modern Athlete shirt. Dr.
Hmm.
John Drake. We'll just
Yep.
give him his props for number one, connecting us, and number two, making the difference that he's making on the planet with all the different modalities and things he's doing is phenomenal. So he's one of the advocates that is using our chairs. He just purchased 4 chairs. They will be in his
That's what he said.
facility next
Yeah.
week. Yeah, so super excited for that and all the great things that are going to come from that. But yeah, so now I have like doctors in the pediatric world that are using it. So I'm creating the same kind of app, but for different markets. Freak Athletes, spelled with FREQ, is the new company that we're getting ready to launch with Dr. Sean Drake. And it's specifically for athletes, people, professional athletes, all the way down to your home gym user. These are going to be frequencies, and it's all based on MRI studies. So it's all vibroacoustic therapy that is crazy. I mean, it's unbelievably effective if used correctly. So we're real excited about what's going on. And yeah, it's been an amazing journey thus far.
Man, there's so much to unpack there, and I think it's really cool. What I don't want to bypass, you're talking about Chris, right, and how he's wired, and I don't. We spoke about it a little bit, like again, mutual friend. You guys were on his podcast, yeah, Dr. Seeger, right? Another very science, or yeah, he's got the engineering background, like. When they dive deep and they know they can make a change, like it's the focus, right? Like, and that's what like Morosco is doing. That's what you guys are doing. And again, but what the one thing that I do notice, and usually like you need to have like the team, right? It's he's great at what he does, and I can already tell you're great at what you do, and together, like that is just a dangerous combo to go ahead and literally change lives.
It is. Wow. We talk about this a lot. So, I've had a lot of partners and a lot of, things fall in and fall out. And, I've always looked for somebody that, number one, money doesn't change. Whether you have it or you don't have it, you're just the same guy. You know what I mean? So, and that's how I am. Obviously we make money and we have to live and we all that stuff happens, but my intentions are way different. I can make money just go being an ordinary guy and get a job at Starbucks or get a job at a bank or whatever. I can be ordinary, and it's very easy to be ordinary. But if I want to make a difference in the world, I'm going to have to take a chance, and I'm going to have to do some things, right? And I'm just so blessed that I've met a guy like Chris who's become an amazing partner. And we're able to just navigate through things. And no, we don't agree on a lot of things. And I'm bust his ass all the time, and I'm getting him to do like everything. And I'm like, because here I'm the dreamer, I'm the money guy. I don't know the science. I'm just learning it all as he's unraveling it. You know what I mean? So it is a great partnership, and I'm learning so much. And it is now I have all these doctors, and I've created my advisory board, and I'm just getting the most fabulous team that wants to make a difference, and they don't give a shit about the money. They're not even. I've got people on my team that haven't even asked me for $1 or anything, and have put me in touch with the world because they understand what's happening and what's about to come with vibroacoustic therapy if one, delivered correctly, and two, most important, recorded correctly, which we can talk about.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot there. And I think as I hear these things, it's the commonality, right? Like recently I've kind of reassessed like personal pillars and things like that. And again, what's important. And what I hear from you is that as you're doing this, it's aligning with a tribe or a group or a set of people that have this common mission, vision, and values. And again, the cool thing is, tribes, like in Seth Godin's book, tribes come from all walks of life, but they need a leader. They need somebody to step up and kind of lead. And it sounds like that's a role that you've happily taken on, and then people are also embracing that, be like, oh heck yes, we're going, and let's just, and we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to when it first started happening, and my first couple people that I was getting in the chair, like I had a girl who had trisomy 18, which is kind of like cerebral palsy,
Okay.
um, similar, but they stim a lot, so they're shaking a lot, and 24-hour care, nonverbal, they don't feed themselves, that type of thing. So 24-hour care from the parent. But the first email I got of a parent talking about the relief that not only they got being able to put their daughter in the chair, but then their daughter and the calmness that came over their daughter. I don't even know what to say. I mean, when you see things like that, is like, okay, I used to get anxiety. So my first one that I saw was this young girl, and then I went back, and I'm sitting in my 7,000 square foot manufacturing facility, and I got all these eggs everywhere, and it's just me and my one guy that's there, and I'm like, why is this? Why am I the one with this? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just Josh, the audio guy, with Chris, you know what I mean? We're like, what the hell? Like, and then I started to talk to my mentors and my people in the world, like the Sean Drakes, and Damon John is my mentor from Shark Tank, and I got really wonderful people. So I'm starting to talk to these people, and they're like, dude, you're the most happiest when you're helping people. Like, this is absolutely on your lap for a reason, because that's all you thrive on that. And so
I just got goosebumps there, man. Like that is powerful. And like that, what I find to be most interesting is, right, like I've been reading, and the word joy has been coming up a lot for me. Joy. And again, through my faith and all this different stuff, but joy. And it's literally when you have those moments. I watched you light up when you started talking about that. And it's like, you can tell that is the piece, like that's the driving factor. And the more that you can tune into that, that makes a great life, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. I get to have fun doing it. So
Whew.
it's amazing just I keep seeing these transformations, and so now I'm acceptance of it. I'm accepting of it, and I know my mission here. I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm excited about it, and like I said, there's no I in team. You know what I mean? So I'm building that team, and it's awesome.
Dude, that's so cool. And again, and I know we've talked a little bit here and there. Like, I come from a college coaching background, right? So before I was with Adidas, I was a college coach, and it's I think as a head coach, or even an athletic director, you look at the collegiate athletics or however, like, you need to assemble a team of people that aren't just like you, that can challenge you, that can pour into you. But I think the most important thing is it's understanding the overall vision, right? And what I continue to hear come up for you is the mission and the vision is to help people. And to help people through this chair and through audio frequencies, and we're good. That's what the focus is.
Yeah, and I'm going to touch on something there that you just brought up, like
Go.
Enjoying the process, like living in the now. Like, that's so important for building a business, right? Because there's startup-itis. That's a thing. You know what I mean? When you're starting a company, people don't realize how tough it is to start a company, especially an audio company that is now transitioning into a wellness company. Like, oh my God. So it has been quite a journey. And to say the least, I'm like, sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. Most of the times I'm up because of everything that's going on. But there's some times where it's a struggle and things are happening, and we're launching our apps and all this different stuff. But I stay in the now. And I enjoy the process, because sometimes the process isn't always up. Sometimes it's down. But in order to make this completely flow the way it needs to flow, I tell my team, like, let's enjoy this entire process, because we're not going to get this process again.
Okay, so I have a question though. So, and you hear people say that all the time, right? Be in the now, be where your feet are. How do you model that for your team, and how do you do that on a daily basis through the ups and downs?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but you'll edit it if not. Less fucks given. Is you have to pick and choose your battles. As we've grown up in life, and we've been taught, like, you have to pick and choose your battles, right? So a lot of things are going to come up, but if you just pick the right things moving forward, I feel it's a little easier to navigate through. So I just kind of I look to what's important, and I kind of just don't give a shit about certain
Yeah.
things. You know what I mean? So I'm less stressed when it comes to that stuff because I'm able just to kind of let things go that aren't supposed to be in the wheelhouse, if that makes any sense.
No, it completely does. And again, I was talking about anchors or pillars, right? Like once you know what those are for you, right? And what is the important stuff, then everything else is just, for lack of better terms, in the audio world, background noise, right? Like provided you can keep that focus on that. And I think that's one of the hardest parts for anybody, whether you're trying to build a business, whether you're a parent, all like it's understanding what are those core things or what is the why. And again, that's very cliche. And what's your why? Da, da, da. But like, what are the pillars or what are your anchors? And then how do you hold tight to those? And I think that's something that I'm personally trying to figure out how to do more of that and what is that important thing. And I love hearing from people like you that have like you're tethered to it. Let's go. Like,
Yeah, I've put enough time and money and effort into it. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm gonna make this successful no matter what, even if I'm by myself.
mm-hmm.
So I'm just excited, and I want to talk about like the other companies and other modalities and other things out there because there's some really good stuff out there in the world. I think it's lacking in the audio space, and I'll touch on that. I think that there's so many modalities out there that are amazing that have you put on $30 headphones. That's so. I could have my scientists talk more about how bad that is.
Yeah.
But quality of sound when you're on one of these modalities is also very important for what they're trying to portray. And if they just change their headphones, which won't fix it because they still need to have the fidelity and the recordings and we do everything procedurally, so it's all in code. So we're coding oscillators that are creating these sine waves and these, you know what I mean? So it's like playing an instrument virtually
Okay.
right in front of you. So everything that we're hearing now, which is like the 432 hertz, the God frequencies, all that stuff, that's all compressed. And that's all compressed to play on MP3s and on YouTube and on your phone and all. It's not good quality. So it's not going to affect your body. Let me rephrase that.
Go.
It's also really good. It's cognitive mindset. You can meditate. It's awesome. Like all that stuff is really good. I'm not taking anything away from that, but it can be so much better when it's not compressed. That's what I'm saying. So
Makes sense.
I want just the companies out there that are doing the things that involve sound just to look at the fidelity of their recordings. And if they want to reach out to us, that's what we do. I don't look at anybody as competition, even if you have apps like me, chairs like me. I think the more people doing it, the better it is for the planet. And it just brings more awareness to what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Because there's not too many in the space right now that are doing vibroacoustic therapy work. There's a few, obviously, and I'm so stoked for that. But it's something that we still have to teach people.
Mm-hmm.
So I just the fidelity is very, very important. So the recordings are also important.
You've said fidelity a couple times. Like I have a high level understanding, but like you keep saying that it's so important. Like why is it so important? Is it when it gets compressed and when everything happens, like it's just you lose. I'm trying to make an analogy. Again, we're a mutual friend, Tom Seeger, Morosco Forge. Like you take a Morosco Forge versus an Alibaba cold plunge, right? Like to me, if I'm making a comparison, it feels like, okay, hey, that's high fidelity over there, right? We're talking Morosco, handcrafted, all this stuff. Yeah. And then, hey, we're getting this bulk, pre-shipped. Is that kind of am I on the right path?
That's absolutely the right path. Yeah. And like I said earlier, there's no middle ground, right? So it's either low or it's really high, and high quality headphones don't even start until they're around $300 to $500 range. It starts to get pretty decent around the $300 to $500 range. So, fidelity meaning when it's compressed to play on other devices versus when you go to a reggae concert or you go to an EDM concert, you walk out of there, you feel
it. Yes.
The music. That's the difference of of fidelity and quality when you are actually feeling the music. It's going to do stuff to your body. So with our stuff, and what makes us different than anybody else is the fact that everything is, like I said, it's all coded. So it's like playing real instruments. And then what my partner did is he created a 40 and 45 hertz carrying wave. So these carrying waves basically pick up other frequencies, and it encodes it, so it picks it up and then it carries it into your body. So when it goes into your body, 10 millimeters of an inch is our roughly what we're seeing right now, and that will affect your cells, your muscle tissue, all that stuff. So right now, I'm an audio company that made a chair that doctors are using. I don't put any claim to my chair. I am doing clinical studies right now. We are doing a bunch of different things right now, so eventually we will be able to do some of those things. But right now, I can tell you that I see headaches taken away. I see menstrual cramps. I see muscle recovery from professional athletes, essential tremors. I've seen so many things, and now autistic children with all kinds of different sensory path issues is like the biggest thing going right now.
I was going to ask about that. I saw on the Instagram and stuff some stuff around that. What, like, care to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so our Instagram, for anybody that wants to see the videos, is Solodome Audio. And yeah, the videos were basically taken by, I get these videos all the time, and I have so many more that I'll eventually start to upload, but it's just testimonials from the families that are dealing with these children that, one of them there, you'll see a little boy come out into the hallway and notice the chair, and he runs straight to the chair and just dives in it. That kid hadn't been out of his room in over 6 months. His room is his safety cave. He has a one-of-one disease. It's rare in children. It's more for adults. He's the first child to get the disease. So there's doctors from all around the world that are with him. Make-A-Wish Foundation is doing some stuff. I'm trying to connect with them so I can start doing stuff with Make-A-Wish. But yeah, things like that. And then you'll see another one with a girl, Dr. George Gonzalez with Quantum Neurology, who's also an amazing human being, who's joining forces with us to do some really amazing stuff, pinpointing nerves to different frequencies and stuff, which we'll talk about that later with Dr. George Gonzalez maybe. But yeah, so we're doing some really cool stuff with him. But you'll see the girl that he took it to. There's two 13-year-old girls. They're twins. And they're they're autistic, and they STEM, and they do all kinds of stuff, and brought them the chair. And like in a few minutes, the child stopped stemming. She became really calm. She was still doing it a little bit with her fingers, but her legs and her body and everything totally got calm. And then if you listen to the end of the video, listen to the father and what he says about the chair and other modalities that are out there in the world for children like this, like, the weighted blankets, the swings, all the different things. Nothing works like my chair. And I can confidently say that now that I have doctors using it in their centers for children. So, the only problem is, like Dr. Jamie Pasaglia at a Little Steps, Florida, she says the only problem with your chair is my physicians are now fighting over it. He's like, I have a 10-minute sign-up window, and so many kids are getting treatment and getting relief that every single doctor now wants to just get their kid in that room. So I'm working to get another chair there. I'm going to start a little donor thing where I'm going to be creating a platform for companies and donors and foundations to be able to give chairs to different centers and schools.
That's cool.
That deal with sensory path issues. Right now, I'm giving them chairs and doing all that stuff on my own, but yeah, it's been phenomenal, man.
Like, I get all lit up inside because, again, I keep hearing that it ties to that mission and the changing of lives, and I just can't help but think, right, that the more people that were wired like you and Chris, the better off the world would be, and we know that. And again, I want to make sure that, and I'll celebrate you at the end, but like, it's really cool to hear this because, again, like you talked about your past, and I mean, we can go there, but like what I love right now is the fact that, like, it ties to being in the now, right? This is how are we impacting the world that we're in. Again, I'm a father, a husband. I've got two kids, 8.5 and almost 6, right? Like, I sit and I'm trying to understand, okay, we don't have anything near what you're talking about, that what these kids are dealing with, but like the more that we have the ability to bring different modalities to help, whether it be calm, regulate, nervous system reset, right? Like all of these different things, it's so powerful. And again, you and I are probably we're around the same age, right? Like think about it. I mean, we grew up drinking out of hoses and running through like it. This is a very different generation
Yeah.
that we're raising right now.
I'm going to say I'm almost 15 years older than you.
I wouldn't go that far, man.
No? 52.
Okay, I'm 45.
Okay, so you're there. You look good.
So
I got two kids too. I have a 21-year-old and a 23-year-old.
okay.
So yeah, so watching, having kids is a whole different mindset, even as a father.
It is. And again, you think like, so we have a sauna in our backyard, a Sisu sauna. It's phenomenal, traditional. So we'll get the kid.
I see you and the wife in it all the time.
Yeah, I know, right? So we pop in there. The kids will go in there. Again, lower bench. As long as they're aged. But again, trying to ingrain some of these just habits that, again, are hard things, right? Again, there's all the studies around doing hard things. Like, the goal is to have like we've got a vision for our backyard to be able to create this communal wellness space, right? Like, and I was up at Sean and Kiki's place yesterday, and like I don't know if you've been in the shift wave yet in those chairs, like phenomenal, right? And I like from a nervous system reset and everything. My experience yesterday, I did it twice because I was waiting for Sean. He was recording a podcast, and it was. That's the hardest part, is being able to sit and hear, particularly around the vibration piece, right? Like as you're sitting, and it's like if it's not dialed in perfectly from the background music and then also the spoken word, it can be sometimes challenging.
Yeah,
Again, great product for what it does.
I agree.
I'd be curious to see what it could do at a whole nother level.
I agree, and I'm gonna have we have these. Well, I have a lot of things. We have a bed I have a 2-seater, a 4-seater. I have a bassinet. I have one for pets. We're doing what's called a freak ball. And it's basically like, you're going to be able to hug it.
Mm.
It'll be like a thing that you could just sit there and hug, and it'll have the frequencies that are just like,
get out of here.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So that's going to be like a couple $100. Like I'm trying to make things, I don't want it to be expensive. I didn't want my chair to be expensive, but you're talking about audiophile. Like you show me another audiophile piece of equipment that is $5,000, please. I want to see it.
Right. Well, and that's the thing, right? So then at that point in time, if you want to bring it more to the masses, right, you have to, it's either your quality has to suffer and not suffer, but you have to make concessions.
So here's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm doing it completely different. So the quality will never suffer because that's not what we're going to do. Chris won't let anything go out unless it's super freaking high quality. We're creating right now the Peloton platform. So it's basically you're going to get it's just like the shaver, right? You buy the shaver, it's pretty damn cheap, but then the blades are expensive, right? So the Peloton, it was, not too bad. It was like, I think I paid $2,500, $3,000 for my bike. But I got to pay $40 a month to run that thing.
Yep.
Or I can get on it and it's a black screen. I can still ride it with a black screen, but
you don't get all the benefits.
You're not doing nothing. You're not pressing yourself. You're not, none of that stuff. So that's what I'm doing with the chair. So the chairs are, like I said in the beginning of the podcast, the chairs are going to get much cheaper. And it's going to come like that. It's going to come basically like with software.
Subscription based.
Yeah, it'll be our app. And that's not going to be expensive. Right now, I'm giving my app for $10 a month, and it has, 50 different relief centers, So, again, I'm not trying to I have to create a business, so it obviously has to be for money. I have to pay people and pay a team and pay, that stuff, but I'm not doing it.
You're not trying to become a millionaire or a billionaire, right?
Not from that. Not from gouging. I'm not trying to gouge people. I'll become a millionaire or billionaire, whatever you want to say, from millions of people getting relief from it. That's when I'll become something.
Okay, so little pivot, staying with sound, and we talk relief, right? Again, sound baths and all of that stuff, right? There's all these different spots that do some sort of acoustic wellness in some way, shape, or form, whether they pair it with a cold plunge or in a sauna, all these things. Like Talk to me about that and what, like, if you gave advice or if there was some sort of like in your experience, what are they doing well? What, like, I'd love your thoughts.
Yeah, record what you're doing on those sound baths. Try and get a quality recording of it, and then we'll talk about a chair. But no, I think sound baths and I think they're very effective. I think they're way more effective than putting a headphone on and listening to something like that. And I'll tell you why. Because this is cognitive, right? This is cognitive mindset. It's
Hmm.
completely different. Putting a bowl on my chest and pounding the bowl, it's cellular, right? So
It's back
now
to the feeling piece.
it's
The
resonance. It's resonating with my bone tissue and so I think it's way more effective. Um, Sound baths versus headphones and meditation music.
So again, for the common, so like for me, right? Don't have a chair. Don't like, so to seek out if I wanted acoustic vibrational therapy or to test the modalities, find a place that does sound baths. That's the best course of action for somebody without access to all the fun stuff.
Yeah, if you don't have our app or other frequency apps that are procedurally created,
Hmm.
then yeah, it would be sound baths. And then again, you're going to have my app, and all you guys are going to have my app. So use my app in your car. Is phenomenal because again, you're encased in speakers and you have a subwoofer in your car. So this is a subwoofer based app. So to answer your question on elaborate a little bit more, find a subwoofer. If you can
Mm.
find the source, whether it be my app or somebody else's app or whatever, vibroacoustic therapy, you want to find a subwoofer because they're low frequencies. And volume equals intensity. So the more you turn it up, the more intense it's going to be, the more it's going to push through your body.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so so whenever I had my subwoofer in my little Honda CRX back in the day, right? I was doing so I was I was ahead of the
You didn't
curve.
even know you were getting therapy.
I know, right? Come on. Dude.
Yeah, so you'll listen to artists, and we're working with a couple artists now. We're going to try and change the way music is played too, because if you lay these frequencies underneath music, music's already healing, right?
Right.
Music's amazing for Alzheimer's, dementia, a lot of different things. Like music is medicine. Imagine them with frequencies underneath them, meaning the low frequencies, the 40 hertz and these 45 hertz carrying waves. There's a few artists. Fred again does it. There's a few artists out there that are doing it, and it is when you sit inside it and you feel like it's different.
And that's really interesting because we talked like EDM or you talk reggae concerts and that kind of stuff, right? Like I would be so curious to see, and I'm sure there's studies around it, but like again, if at those concerts and events, right, we talked high fidelity, it's the immersive experience, it's the feeling of, again, those low frequencies, those bass, but like I'd imagine that it's not intentional on the level that you're talking about, right? It's
No.
and that would be really interesting if you can
Yeah.
if you're in an arena or in a place to where like that is literally intentionality of it. So it's underlay, like you're saying, the underlayment of it, that would be rad.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, there's obviously study on it and the effects music has and the effects
Yeah.
of going to a concert versus listening to it in your car, all that kind of stuff. And it shows that it's way more effective when you're in front of the instrument. You know what I mean? Or in front of the speaker or whatever
Hmm.
it may have you. It's way more effective. Again, depending on the recording. You know what I mean? You're at a concert, it's live, it's right there. But this is just a great example. I made our app, right? And I made the headache relief. And then I wanted to put the headache relief on YouTube for free so that people can go get some free relief if they find it, right?
Hmm.
I played in the car, the YouTube. I, I didn't even feel it. I played my one that we created and it was like, oh my, I'm talking about night and day. It's like 100 times different. So that just goes to show you something that we created that's amazing. We just pressed it down to play it on YouTube, and it is horrible. I don't even want it on there. I want to take it off because
Mm.
it doesn't represent what we do. It's not the same.
So
So
what I hear is like the first focus is the quality of the inputs, right? Like the quality of the inputs, and then get as close to that source as possible because right now, obviously with compression or even the podcast, right? Like again, it'll be compressed when we go to YouTube, all this different stuff. And again, it'll be good enough,
Right.
right? Like,
Right.
but not for what, like for people to sit and hear and be part of our conversation, great, and feel like they're sitting with us. But it's different with what you're trying to do from the whole vibrational piece and from, man, that is interesting because again, you think about the quality of the input, and that's got to be one of the hardest parts.
It is. It absolutely is, because how do you get all your stuff to play out there in the world, right? It all has to be kind of compressed. So unless you're generating it, or you have an album, or there's things like that, even that, like listening to a vinyl recording in the correct delivery system, whether it be a good system at your home or whatever, if it's a quality system or a chair, whatever, it is, wow. It's a whole different experience. And that it's so phenomenal to me too, how like that little teeny needle is a microphone that sits in these lines that
these little grooves. Yeah.
It's fascinating to me, and the quality of it is amazing. So we made actually a chair that has volume knobs and faders and so you can actually Bluetooth
tune it.
You can Bluetooth a record player to our chair, no cables, no wires. Play it and turn it up, fade it, balance, all the kind of stuff. So,
get out of here, man.
Yeah, we did it with Victrola. We had partnered with Victrola to make a bespoke vinyl record chair.
And and that's here's the you said it earlier, but like this, it's the merging of so many really cool things, because again, music is something that it transcends generations. It brings people together. It lightens moods. It sets all this stuff. And then the healing power of it. And I don't know who wouldn't want to be a part of it. Right. And I think that as you're sitting to talk about raises and all this stuff, right? I know raises aren't easy. I've been around people that are it's a different, that's a different animal. That's a space that I don't know if I'm comfortable in, but I'd imagine that the conversations that you're having, they have a different tone.
Yeah. There's an emotional attachment to it.
Yeah.
So I have my CFO, I hired this wonderful company as my fractional CFO. They deal with the JP Morgans of the world. They deal with big clients, right? And most of these clients pay a lot of money to do what I'm engaging with them. And most money's pay up front. They're not even charging me up front, this company. The guy told me yesterday, he's like this is really if set up correctly, this is worth more than you could ever fathom. He said, you guys have the world by your hands. The tiger by the tail type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I'm getting in these rooms with these people that are, I've had to turn some people down. I'll just say that. I've already had to tell myself I don't want to work with that person. I don't feel like they have the right intentions. We need the money to build the brand, to get it to the masses, to do what I want to do, right? So, but I'm not going to be desperate, and I'm not going to get in bed with the person before I want to date before I get married type of thing right now. And I've already been dating a lot of people. And so now I need to get married to somebody. And so, yeah, I'm in these crazy rooms. But the potential and it's again, I have to just build the right team. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. And again, to me, it's the right team with the right heart. And I love the fact that you said that you're having to walk away from people. Because what to me is that you're an intentional CEO, and you're holding, we were talking, the pillars or your values, right? You're holding true to this is our why. And if you're not a part of it, that's okay. This isn't a judgment piece. This is what we're looking for. And these are the people we want to be with.
I mean, there's even companies that I have started relationships with, partnering with, whatever. And I see the other products that they're pushing. And some of them are what I think is snake oil. It's just a money grab, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to disattach myself even from those relationships, because I don't want to be associated with anything. I just want the right intentions, man. I want the right people, the right companies, the right everything around me. And there's enough good out there that I can make that happen.
Yeah, and again, and I think it will find you. Like
Yeah,
you will attract it by virtue. And again, like just even look at the conversation we're having, right? Attract. We got attracted to each other based off of Sean and Dr. Seeger and all, like cool. So it's again, right, like vibrations, right? If we're talking, so like,
yeah,
hey, let's find. You got to keep finding those people,
yeah.
and if you turn it up loud enough, right, you're going to continue to attract it.
Absolutely. I love
Man,
you. That's a great analogy.
that is so cool. I mean, dude, I mean, we've been talking for almost an hour, right? And again, I'm always cognizant of time and everything. And we can go back to, what you did in Hollywood and all this, but I really don't think that not to discredit it, but I love the fact that like our conversation was literally in this moment and it was you and me just
Yeah.
like vibing and talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
I do want to ask, is there anything that maybe stands out that maybe we left out or something that you kind of want to impart towards the end? And we don't have to wrap right now, but like, is there anything that's on your heart or your head that like you really want to kind of share?
Um, I mean, just the mission we have as far as making a difference in the world one dome at a time. I like that's a strong thing for me and even a bigger thing for me right now too in a new mission within my company. I'll give a little quick story. I had an email sent to me from LA Philharmonic that was working with some deaf people and they wanted to have a meeting with me about my chair. Okay, that was mind blowing to me that I'm even getting an email from some deaf people about my sound chair, right? So
Right.
I emailed them back, hey, whatever I got to do, let me know where I got to meet, whatever. So I met them at this place called Center Staging in Burbank. I have a chair there. I had a chair there. And then I walk into it and they're in there. There's three deaf people and one of their signer was there. And two of them were in tears crying. And they proceeded to tell me that this was the first time, they were in their 30s. This was the first time they had ever heard music. And they were blown away. And they said, this is going to change the way that we game. And if you could make it a mission within your company to create a hearing impaired section at concert venues for us.
Oh
She's
my
like,
gosh.
we've never been able to go to concerts. And after sitting in this chair, I want to go to concerts. She's like, so will you make it a mission within your company? I said, absolutely, I will. So with that being said, I'm teaming up with companies, brands, artists, athletes, all kinds of people that want to help me get this to the forefront. I already have a connection to Michael Rapino at Live Nation. He's the CEO. I can take that meeting at any time. I just want to wait till I have the right team.
Yeah.
Because I am going to make hearing impaired sections at concert venues all around the world.
Oh my gosh, man. Like,
Isn't that wild?
I'm speechless because, like, first off, I heard the joy, but I also heard the emotion from you from that. Like
Yeah.
I'm an empath, and like I felt that through because, and I'm getting choked up about because like that is so profound and impactful, but yet we take that for granted.
Yeah. And why isn't it already? Why haven't it, why hasn't it been? Like when you go to a concert, there's an area for the guy in the wheelchair,
Hmm.
right? And some bands like the Grateful Dead and other bands had a signer
Yeah.
on the side of the stage and they'd be signing, but I just feel like this is something that should already be, and thank God, I have the delivery system to now provide it and hopefully the right team to execute it.
Oh, I just had this really crazy vision, Josh, of like this, you have this section, right? And is it a, I picture Solodome like almost like section of four seats, right? That is just like,
It
and
was like
again,
5 to 10 seats is what I said. I was
yeah,
thinking 5 to 10 seats, and it's basically like, look, just take out 5 or 10 seats that you already have
yes,
there.
yes,
And this is and if nobody purchases them, allow the people to come and experience that. You know what I mean? So
sure.
you're not going to miss out on the seat. And then think about the PR behind that. Think about that. Think about that for a second. Like those companies and the people that get involved with me to do this thing, that's a big push for media. And it's just a huge, I just think it's such a good thing to do in the world.
Oh, it'd be so
Um,
cool. Yeah. Like,
And I'm on that mission, so join my mission, and that's what I'm doing. So
oh man, you got lots of missions, and I think that right now, I think that's probably a pretty cool way to kind of tie a bow on it, right? Like I know, you said you want to impact the world one dome at a time, and you want to change the world one dome at a time, and so like for me, that's the mission. You hold to it, and I think that it's important for us to raise awareness around it to be able to talk about it. And I'm excited that we've had the opportunity to kind of talk about this because again, I've sat in a dome. Like it's fantastic up at Sean's spot. Like, but this makes me appreciate even more, and it makes me want to drive the 30 minutes back up to Sean's
yeah,
and sit and like listen and experience in a different way because for me it's the passion that comes through. It's the mission that comes through. It's not like, again, you're not, yes, you're doing it to make money, but like it's literally to impact lives. And that's the when you have a heart like that, to me, it's easy to find ways to try to support that.
yeah. It's been again, it's not just my heart; it's my team's heart, and the whole mission that my wife and my partner and we all have this like strong goal and direct focus on what needs to happen here. And yeah, it's not going to happen without people like yourself, so I really appreciate you allowing me to use your platform to explain what it is we're doing and my whole mission here. And yeah, I'm excited, man.
I mean, if it gets one person's ears to perk up about this,
Yeah.
right? That's what it's about. We don't
That's
have
it.
we don't have to move mountains.
So then I've already succeeded because I got your ears to perk up.
100%. And that's the thing, right? Like, so that's what I love about the platform of like podcasts and everything. I truly believe that everybody has a story. Everybody has a story worth sharing. And when you can connect with somebody around what's like driving them, what their heart is, right? They can help and they can impact other people along the way. And that's exactly what I know that this will bring to life. And I know, we'll get Sean and the guys to share it, but like, I mean, man, this is rad. I'm really grateful. Where can everybody find you? And I'll link everything in the notes. You said Solodome Audio on
Yeah,
Instagram.
so Solodome Audio on Instagram. Obviously, we're www.solodome.com. And then my email is josh@solodome.com as well. If anybody wants to email me, any doctors have any questions, I'll share my app with you guys, all that kind of stuff. I'll make sure to give you a link to the app too, Steve, so you
Sweet.
can send that to everybody with a nice code. And also, I'll give you a discount code for chairs, all that kind of stuff. I'll set you up so that if anybody wants anything, we're here to help. So I
I
really
love it. One last thing, like, do you guys have and I think you do, but do you have a finder, like, hey, find a solo dome, like where they are at, so that way people can actually try them?
It's funny you say that. So I'm getting ready to actually make what's called a heat map.
Okay.
So you're basically going to see all the chairs that have been sold,
Yes.
the different demo areas. But right now, I currently have a demo area in Miami. I have one in New York. I have one in LA. And I soon will have one in Nashville and also in Canada.
I love it. And I think that like those are really interesting things, right? And then also, finding practitioners, I know you guys share a lot of stuff, and you like Sean and those different type of people. So that however we can raise awareness and get people to connect those dots, because what I'd love to see is this like almost like web of wellness, people that are doing it at a very high level, and how are we using the connectivity of us? I like to joke I'm a serial dot connector. How do we connect dots between people to then continue to make this web of wellness like that much bigger and that much greater?
Absolutely. And look, you have my contact now. You're now part of my family. So anywhere you see fit and you want to get involved, like I said, I'm building my team. You know what I mean? So I am raising money. I already have investors that are interested. There's all kinds of awesome things that are happening. So like I said, I need like-minded people like yourself around me. And dude, thank you again for having me on the show.
Josh, it's been my pleasure, man. I'm grateful we finally were able to do it. And I think maybe we have a follow-up, and maybe maybe we do something with Sean, or like, and again, I want to talk to Chris too. Like that'd be fun. And I know it'll be way over my head, but
it'll be good.
That'd be cool too.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Josh, I'll talk to you soon, man. Thanks for the time.
Yep. Thank you, brother.